Hello everyone, this is part 47 of What If Naruto Had a Hug That Changed Everything, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Okay, let's rewind the tape real quick. Naruto fought Kuro. Yes, as in Naruto Uzumaki. Yep, the Naruto. That's right, as in Naruto. Yeah, Kakashi. Kid with blonde hair, about yay tall, loves ramen to an inhuman extent. Yes, how many times do I have to say it? With his suspicions confirmed, Kakashi remained as awestruck as ever. The fact that it came from Tsunade only made it more believable. As far as Kakashi was concerned, she had nothing to do with Naruto personally, so she'd have nothing to gain by making the whole thing up. He really fought. Listen, there's going to be a little harvest at Anbu headquarters before my announcement as Hokage. You and the rest of your Jonin colleagues are cordially invited to observe. Inform all of your fellow Jonin, and anyone you feel should know everything that I just told you, to meet at this spot beforehand, Tsunade informed before turning around and walking past the copy ninja. Kakashi stared down into the view of his village. The Anbu headquarters, huh? So we're still keeping the whole thing under wraps. Yeah, just in case. A frantic Naruto stood atop one of the buildings of his village in search of Ino. To this very moment, he couldn't seem to find her or Sakura anywhere, which was really freaking stupid because of his awesome sense of smell and hearing. Of course, the overcrowded streets sure didn't help him in that department. Sighing to himself, Naruto lifted his arms, stretching long and hard before sitting upon the edge of the building, watching over the flow of life that surfed through the streets of his home. Geez, of all times that I want to see them, I can't. This is bulls, Naruto thought to himself. Of course, I probably shouldn't be so eager. For all I know, Sakura-chan might wanna my balls off for the whole Ino fiasco. What a pain. With another sigh, the blonde genin closed his eyes to settle his thoughts, when all of a sudden. Dobe. At hearing that, Naruto's eyes shot open before he whirled around and saw none other than Sasuke. Oi, team, you look well. TCH, and you still look like an idiot. I can't believe you actually pulled this off, Sasuke said with a smirk. Or, jealous. Sasuke turned away, mouthing the words, as if, while retaining his smirk. But soon after, his demeanor changed. Ino and Sakura have been worried sick about you, Naruto. They've been driving themselves to near insanity waiting for you to come back, he informed. A ping was sent through Naruto's chest when he heard that. Oh crap, I didn't want them to worry about me. Ha ha, sap. Douche. After a small pause, they both shared a good laughter, but Naruto's concerns were still as strong as ever. Do you have any idea where they are? Sasuke crossed his arms. Well, word spread pretty quickly about Tsunade's return, so they might be out looking for you, he said before walking next to his friend and taking a seat. The two genin gandered upon the ravishing view, and Sasuke was now debating himself over one particular matter. The silence was making Naruto a little uncomfortable. What's up with you? The blonde said. Sigh. Nothing. Look, you should get going, and find Ino and Sakura before they go stir crazy. Or at least, more than they already have. I shouldn't I? Alright then, I'll see ya around, Sasuke, Naruto waved before leaping off of the building. Sitting in solitude, Sasuke closed his eyes and wondered if he did the right thing. Was it wise to listen to the old man? He inwardly questioned. The black-haired Uchiha's senses were suddenly blazing when a familiar presence made itself known. You seem conflicted, child, a shaky old voice sounded out. Without even turning to the source of the voice, Sasuke stared out into the distance. Don't I have every reason to be, old man? I don't see why we have to keep everything from Naruto. He deserves to know, Sasuke said. From out of the blue, came Gigi, cane in handy. Standing beside the seated Uchiha, the gold-clad geezer explained. He must never discover that Nekoshi and Kitsune arrived here, he would surely grow restless. Besides, thanks to you, they'll probably never show their faces in this village again, Gigi said. I've been meaning to ask you about that. What the hell did you give me, and what the hell happened when I broke it? Sasuke questioned. He. Well, let's just say that what Ya did not only put us all in mortal danger, but saved us in the process. Come again. Child, the relic Ya held in your hands the other day was the source of Kuro's powers, a special seal that he and his students held in substantial regards. What? The source of his powers. Shush. Keep your voice down, child. But yeah, you breaking that seal was probably the worst thing that could have happened to poor old Kuro in the middle of a fight with the Sannin. He. That little stone. I don't. So what, did me breaking that relic K him, or something? GG, shut his eyes. No, son, it did something worse. Much worse. It was fortunate that I was able to participate, and stop the transformation with this, GG said as he pulled out an identical relic. We can keep everything under control with this alternative sealing relic. Sasuke turned an eye to the relic and recalled the radically eccentric jutsu that the old traveler casted when the previous one had been shattered on the ground. Wait, what do you mean transformation? The curious Uchiha asked. Quote. It's no longer a factor of concern, Sasuke. The important thing is that you continue your training and keep your friends close. Your hardships have only just begun, Gigi informed before relinquishing his little carrying sack and dropping it upon Sasuke's lap. Startled, the raven-haired genin took the sack and revealed what it carried. But, this is, why are you giving me this? He questioned. Haven't I already made it clear, son? I trust you'll know what to do with such a responsibility, the old traveler said as he turned to leave. Sasuke abruptly rose to his feet and shouted after his elder. Wait. Tell me, why are you doing all of this? He questioned again. Why is helping us out so important to you? The bearded old man stopped where he was and lowered his head with a soft sigh. Quote. It's a family issue. With those final words, the mysterious Gigi's form slowly broke down into dust and was swiftly carried away by the wind. Now left completely alone, Sasuke was more curious than ever as to what's been happening, and what will happen in the future. But more importantly, who are you, old man? With his mind in wonder, Sasuke stared down at Gigi's gift. And why do you so willingly trust me with this thing? The panting Ino and Sakura were resting upon the bench of the village's park, catching their breaths. This is bulls. Why can't we find him anywhere? Sakura yelled out loud. Who knows? It's like he's invisible, or some, Ino said before she was cut off. He's avoiding us, that's what he's doing. The Placian blonde Kunoiki slowly turned her head to her pink-haired friend with a blank face. Well, there's, something wrong with you, isn't there? Sigh. Sorry, Ino-chan. It just feels like forever since I've been able to see him, hear him or touch him. Plus, just finding out that he's still in One Piece. I think I'm actually losing my mind, Sakura said, trying to relax herself. Really? Wow, I didn't notice, Ino sarcastically retorted. With a huff of exasperation, Sakura sunk into her seat. Come on, I miss him too, Yano. You're worrying too much, Sakura-chan. They said that he was here, right? If we keep looking then I'm sure he'll turn up eventually. But I wanna see Naruto, now. This is so stupid. I mean, it's bad enough that I didn't get to see him after we, spent some special time together, but for almost 2 weeks. I don't know how much more of this I can take, damn it. Do you hear me? Sakura wreathed on. It seemed as though her bing fell upon deaf ears, however, as her purple-clad friend stared off into the distance on the left side. But looking closer at Ino's expression, it looked like she was ogling instead. Raising an eyebrow to this, Sakura snapped her fingers in front of Ino's face, gaining no effect whatsoever. Then she tried to see what she was staring at, and her face went rampade with shock. Before them both, stood the object of the shared affections, standing tall with his hands to his hips. Though his back was turned to them, they just knew it was him. Why, he was practically glowing. Okay, by now you should know that they've pretty much went through a mental withdrawal because of the lack of Naruto. Ino's eyes flipped to heart shapes while Sakura's teeth SCRD and grinded against themselves as she glared daggers at him. Damn it, I swear to God, if I don't find her soon, I'll go nuts, Naruto murmured to himself as he scanned the park for any signs of his favorite lass. It was only when he heard his name being shouted from behind, did Naruto turn around and notice a tremendously elated Ino and a wrathful she-devil Sakura running at him. Cue the slow-mo. Instantly becoming freaked out, Naruto turned tail and attempted to make a run for it, screaming, "Whoa!" As he did so. Normal speed. Unfortunately for Naruto, he was viciously tackled by the two females, where they were then sent on a massive tumble across the ground that only ended up with Ino relentlessly nestling to his chest with her arms around him, while a tearing Sakura mercilessly hugged out off strangled out if crushed the poor bastard by the end. As for Naruto, himself, well, he was kind of unconscious to really enjoy any of it. Several minutes later, Naruto's senses slowly restored as he was steadily calming to. From what he could make out, his head was lying upon something soft out of him, and very comfortable. Welcoming the relaxing feeling, the blonde shinobi coaxed a content M as he cuddled against it, a smile tugging at his face. Upon doing this, however, Naruto could have sworn that he heard giggling. "He's so cute. I know, right?" Since he wasn't quite awake, those words only seemed like blurry sounds, though they were just enough to fully awaken him. Opening his eyes, the blue-eyed Jinchuriki saw Sakura's face looming over his, greeting him with a gentle, loving smile. Naruto slightly turned his head to the side and saw a slim torso garbed in red. So he knew that Sakura's lap was what he rested upon. He turned his head to the other side and saw yet another familiar face, blushing and smiling at him from above. Ino-chan, Naruto thought. Welcome back, sleepyhead, Sakura cooed as she ran her fingers through Naruto's hair. Where did I go? He wearily murmured. Ino stifled a giggle under her breath. Through hell in a ham basket and back again, from what we were told, the bleached blonde female said. Naruto nestled into Sakura's lap to get more comfortable and closed his eyes. Someone informed you. Was it that L-Ed sage? I bet it was, he assumed. Ino and Sakura shot glances toward each other, then back at Naruto. Let's just say, that it was a really good source, Sakura said. Naruto peeled one of his eyes open, wondering who else could have possibly tipped him off. Really? What kind of source? He asked curiously. Sakura's breath caught in her tea as she sealed her lips shut. Ino glared at the pink-haired female, baring her teeth, an expression that simply screamed, "You stupid bee." The blonde female calmed her expression and looked back at Naruto. Forget about it, Naruto-kun. The important thing is that you're back safely. We were so worried about you, Ino said. A side of Naruto was a tad too curious to simply forget about it. Something seemed a little off, but the more dominant side of him really wanted to let it all go. The hell that he suffered through is now a thing of the past, and he wanted to forget anything and everything that involved Kuro. Besides, he didn't go out searching for his favorite ladies for nothing, right? You're probably right, Ino-chan. Besides, there's a few things I wanna talk to you about anyway, Naruto admitted. Sensing where this conversation was going, Ino's anticipation rode high, as did Sakura's. Of course, they both saw hesitation in Naruto's face as he looked at his pink-haired girl. Now completely certain what he was about to bring up, they both smiled at him. This wouldn't happen to be about Ino-chan's little schmooze she made on you, would it? Sakura said as though she didn't know. At hearing this, Naruto's eyes shot open with shock and awe. He rose to sit up and stared at the two grinning females before him. How did you? Lucky guess, Ino playfully mocked. NAR. Sounds a little too good to be a guess. Someone care to start explaining things to me? Naruto said with an eager curiosity. Ino and Sakura traded another glace, and the grins became more vivid. Naruto was once again taken by surprise when he saw them both shoot side by side before getting right in his face, giggling excitedly. Have we got an explanation for you? They both chimed in unison. Meanwhile, atop the central building. Are you serious? An incredibly surprised Iruka exclaimed, and he's still alive. Yes. Thanks to Naruto, we were able to pull in the advantage in the battle, Tsunade said. Standing before the godime, not just yet, but still, were the Jonin leaders of all of the village clans, Yamanaka, Nara, Akamaiki, Inuzuka, Aburame and Hyuga, all of the Jonin sensei and of course Iruka. Each one of them were not only shocked that the near-indestructible Kuro had finally met his end, but more on the fact that Naruto Uzumaki aided the cause. Hell, even Kakashi couldn't get over the shock. And he was already told. Standing beside Tsunade, was a cross-armed Jiraiya, who shared on passing the information. But his assistance in that fraction of the battle left much room for great concern. You all know of the demon within him, the white-haired sage said. Though they all knew what Jiraiya was talking about, Iruka instantly became worried. Kuro had us all against the ropes and nearly took one of us out. When Naruto became too involved, something terrible happened, he trailed off. A thick demonic aura encased him, and his nature became nothing short of bloodthirsty. He attacked Kuro with a ferocity that humans simply don't possess. He caught him off guard. No, he caught all of us off guard. I've never seen anything like it. He nearly tore him apart with his bare hands, Tsunade said. The aura took a very unique form, a two-tailed form. We're unclear of what it means exactly, but there's one thing that we know for certain. And it's not good, Jiraiya continued. I see. So Minato-sensei's seal is beginning to weaken. For the QB to have such an influence upon Naruto. Tsunade didn't tell me that, Kakashi trailed in his thoughts. Unfortunately, Kuro was able to gain the upper hand again, as he acknowledged Naruto's inability to distinguish friend from foe. Because of his blind and savage nature, Naruto couldn't focus on his enemy, Tsunade added. But it was what happened afterwards, that was most disturbing. For no rhyme or reason that we can think of, Kuro was suddenly pled with tremendous agony. His energy fluctuated dangerously, before it plummeted like an asteroid, that's when we struck. Something was strange about the whole ordeal, though. When Kuro's power mysteriously decreased, Naruto's own energy decreased as well. His demonic aura was gone and was out of it from there on out. When he awakened earlier this morning, he claimed to have not remembered anything after his little change. Both Jiraiya and Tsunade paused to let everything sink in, and as expected, there wasn't a single calm expression on any of the Jonins' faces. Iruka, in particular, was the most worried out of them all. It felt like it's been forever since he was able to sit down and ask Naruto how his life has been since he saw him last. Second chapter. And now, from what he was just told, he began to fear that Naruto was changing into someone else, someone that was merely a shell of what he once was. Though the Tand Academy teacher hoped against all possible hope that he was wrong in his worries. Kuro is and we have brought his body here for examination and study. If we can find out why we were unable to kill him before, then we may be able to prevent him from ever coming back, Tsunade said. Wait, they brought his body here, Anko mentally shouted. That is mainly why I summoned you all here. You're all expected within the Anbu headquarters to oversee the autopsy with Jiraiya. You must contain his organs after harvesting until I can study them in private, Tsunade added. All Jonin nodded in affirmation. And what of you, Tsunade-sama? Asuma questioned. Well, I am the god I'm Hokage, you know, can't just waltz out of the village walls whenever I want when there's work to be done. Now get going, the blonde Sannin said. Acknowledging the task at hand, the Jonin leaders hastily turned tail and were about to take their leave. Oh, and one more thing, Tsunade called out, gaining stares from them all, how's about none of us go around breathing a word of this to the council, huh? With a simultaneous hi from the lot of them, all of the Jonin vanished from off of the building to their destination. Now alone with Jiraiya, Tsunade crossed her arms and thought for a moment. Keeping it from the council, eh? Why the secrecy, Tsunadeheim? The white-haired Sannin questioned. The hazel-eyed female shut her eyes. Don't play coy with me, Jiraiya. You know as much as I do, the risky move we're making, Tsunade said. Hey, I seem to recall this harebrained scheme to be your idea. Besides, we're gonna have to spill the beans to them some time or another, Jiraiya mentioned. I know that. I just want him to stay and removing all of his organs to prevent any miscellaneous regeneration seems like the best way to do it. Well, I suppose I'd better get a move on. As cautious as they are, the Anbu might get suspicious if I'm not there with the other Jonin. I'll see ya later, Tsunade, Jiraiya said before taking his leave. With her duties as village leader laid before her, Tsunade steeled her resolve for what was to come. If she only knew, far beyond the boundaries of civilization. The flustered and greatly vexed Nekoshi and Kitsune, donning their red Akatsuki attire, sat before a long and vast creek, silent and downhearted. That sorry sack of bovine excrement. How could I let him break the seal? For that matter, how did he get his style little paws on it? Nekoshi cursed. It doesn't matter anymore, Nekoshi, we've failed. We've failed our task. We've failed our sensei. There's nothing we can do now, a depressed Kitsune said. Nekoshi slammed his fist into the shore out of sheer anger. No, I don't believe it. I won't believe it, he shouted. Oh come on, love, you felt it too. Kuro-sensei's life force is completely gone, the tanned female uttered. But, it can't be. After all of the things we've been through. Just like that. There's no way, there's simply no way he can be gone. Kitsune sighed sorrowfully. Nekoshi, I don't want to believe it either. In fact, I always thought he was invincible, but this is the way things are now. We have to accept them whether we want to or not. No, I'm telling you, something about this whole thing seems off, the burly veteran said. Kitsune raised an eyebrow at Nekoshi's words. What do you mean? Well, for starters, what's in the back of your mind right now? Come again. Nekoshi stood up and pulled out a slashed Konoha headband. Out of sheer remembrance, Kitsune recognized it. What the? How did you get your hands on that? She questioned. I took it from Naruto's apartment and kept it for irony's sake. The point is, doesn't the kid seem to be plowing around in your mind every now and again? The white-haired man continued. Yeah, but, is there some hidden answer to this riddle? No riddle, but cold hard fact. Kitsune peered at her companion's face for answers. What are you getting at? The blue-haired Kunoiki asked again. Isn't it obvious by now? We're all still connected. When Kuro-sensei's energy signal vanished, our connection with Naruto should have vanished along with it. If he's really S, then why do we have a super strong intuition as to where the boy is and what he's doing at this very moment? Nekoshi pointed out. Hearing these points sent shivers up Kitsune's spine. By God, he's right. I know exactly what's going on with the boy right now, Kitsune inwardly exclaimed. Nekoshi stared at the slashed headband for a moment longer before a smile crept upon his face. He knelt down before the shore of the creek and dropped the headband into the water, watching it being carried off along the stream. I see now, so it's not over yet, Kitsune murmured. No, babe, this is only the beginning, the blackened-eyed warrior concurred as he pulled out his sunglasses and slipped them onto his face. With a new goal now conceived by the wily veteran, he immediately sped off. Taken by surprise, Kitsune hastily picked herself up and followed. Nekoshi, where are you going? Just follow me, Kitsune. One way or another, we will make his dreams a reality. Streets of Konoha. Naruto was reluctantly dragged by the arms, across the village by Ino and Sakura. He could point two things slightly out of place about the situation. 1. They both happily treated him to food and things of the like without so much as a competitive, seething or otherwise hateful glance toward each other, and second, they neglected to explain their mysteriously gained knowledge. Needless to say, he's starting to get a little ticked off. Is this just a girl's way of beating around the bush, or what? Naruto inwardly huffed to himself. So where should we go next? And ultra-excited Ino said. Well, our options are limited, since we can't go to the other towns without supervision. Sakura mentioned. True. And hanging around the village is starting to get a bit boring. Say, what do you wanna do, Naru? Oh, Ino cut herself off in mid-sentence when she saw the look on her fellow blonde's face. Sakura, who was oblivious to Naruto's displeasure, carried on with her planning and was just about to say something further until Ino stopped her with a grasp to her shoulder. Confused, the pink-haired female shot Ino a puzzling stare before she too caught a glimpse of Naruto's expression. It was at that moment that both Sakura and Ino decided that the time was shay. On second thought, why don't we all find some place a little more private? Sakura reconsidered. Dropping his seething expression almost completely, Naruto stared up at his female companions questioningly. Before being given a chance to say anything, the black-clad genin was again pulled along by his arms. Naruto found himself standing before his female counterparts inside the walls of the Chunin Stadium minutes later, private and discreet as Ino and Sakura had wished it. Okay, what's been going on, you two? I feel like I've missed too much and I want answers, Naruto sternly demanded. Sakura was the first to speak out. Answers, right. Well, I can say that you've missed out on a few things, definitely, she began rather hesitantly. Naruto slightly frowned at the constant beating around the bush, trying his damnedest not to let it show too much. Sigh. Let's just cut to the chase. While you were gone, Ino and I have been talking, to say the least, Sakura carefully advanced, pressing her fingers together. Okay, Naruto said with a curious edge. We've been talking about, well, you know, us. Us. Naruto flatly reiterated with a raised eyebrow. Sakura could feel her hesitation growing from within, and Ino was well aware of it. Needless to say, she was getting a little impatient. Why yeah, you see, the thing is, well, that is to say. Oh, for F's sake, Ino blurted out before she abruptly took Sakura's hand and intertwined it with her own. At this, Naruto's curiosity was piqued further as he stared at the tangled hands. Ino's lack of facility in this matter made Sakura more nervous than before, but decided that she would be best suited to breaking the big news. What our illiterate friend is trying to say is that we've been seeing each other more than usual, that is, Ino confirmed. At this, Naruto crossed his arms. That particular gesture made Sakura squirm inside, questioning if this was a total mistake. Well, that's painfully obvious, Naruto responded without any specific tone. Hearing this made the girl's head spin 100 rotations a second. What do you mean it's obvious? They both freaked out in unison. Well, you both have eyes and you're actually getting along. I'd say you've been seeing a lot of each other too, but how does that answer my question? Naruto densely asked. Both Ino and Sakura had to keep themselves from falling on their faces at the sheer idiocy, but they retained their composure, and the urge to whack him upside his head. That's not what I meant, Naruto-kun. I mean we've been seeing each other, Ino calmly explained as she pulled Sakura closer to her and ran her fingers through her glossy pink hair. Seeing this, sent a chill through Naruto's spine. What the hell is she talking about? Why is she holding Sakura-chan like that? He inwardly questioned. Now I'm confused. What are you trying to tell me? Both females' faces fell. Still don't get it, huh? Ino sighed as she tried to think of another way to explain. Naruto could feel himself growing more and more irritated, and was on the verge of cracking. Sensing this, Sakura's gut instinct ordered her to make a risky move. The results were uncertain, but she decided that Naruto has waited long enough. Okay, maybe it'll be better if we just show you what we mean, the pink-haired Kunoiki suggested, gaining an impressed look from Ino. With his curiosity piqued again, Naruto eagerly awaited to see this physical explanation. Wasting no more time, Sakura took her female partner's chin and leaned forward. Ino repeated this action. Naruto's jaw went numb and his arms slowly dropped to his sides as he witnessed their faces edging closer to one another. His eyes widened to an unbelievable radius when their lips met. Meanwhile, at the central building, Tsunade stood before the large window in her new office, staring down upon the book that would save Rock Lee's shinobi career. That is until she was interrupted by a knock on her door. Who is it? She demanded. Sasuke Uchiha is here to speak with you, Hokage-sama, the informant said, gaining a raised eyebrow from Tsunade. Come in. Upon those words, the large double doors opened, and in came Sasuke with his usual expression. Tsunade set the book upon her desk, looked the boy over and noticed that he carried a little brown sack with him. The doors closed behind Sasuke as he approached Konoha's new leader and bowed respectfully. Smirking slightly at the Uchiha's manners, Tsunade sat at her desk with her chin rested upon her laced hands. You're one of Naruto's teammates, the blonde Sannin said. Yes I am, Sasuke confirmed. Tsunade looked him over again, and her expression fell a bit. Jiraiya was right, he's so uptight he practically squeaks, she thought to herself, so, to what do I owe this visit? Getting right to the point, Sasuke reached inside the brown sack and pulled out the object it carried. This immediately made Tsunade's eyes nearly fall out of her head. She was so surprised, she shot to her feet. I understand that you know what this could be, Sasuke said as he held the object within his hand. Growing more and more alert, Tsunade approached the younger ninja to take a closer look. That stone. But how? When did this kid get his hands on it? She inwardly pondered. Kid, do you have any idea what you're holding? All too well, Sasuke responded without so much as a batted eyelash, but you seem to know a lot more behind it than I do. He offered the mysterious relic to his leader, and she practically snatched it from his hands and Saint USD it further. I know about Kuro Karatsune, the Uchiha said out of the blue. Hearing this, Tsunade flinched and shot Sasuke an awed stare. What? But, how? Sasuke explains. So, You all know the truth, Tsunade trailed off. That's right. I understand that the council had our best interest in mind by keeping it from us, Sasuke assured. And you've all kept your word and revealed nothing to the public. Hi. The hazel-eyed female turned away from her guest as she stared at the ceiling relic in her hands. A cloud of silence filled the room for a time, until Tsunade simply had to have her question answered. Who gave you this? She asked directly. Does a man who calls himself GG mean anything to you? At first, Sasuke heard nothing in response. He stared at Tsunade, waiting for one. Since her back was turned, he couldn't see the seething and hateful expression on her face. Hokage SA. Get out. The black-clad Uchiha flinched at the sudden snap back. Nani. Leave at once, Tsunade clarified with a little more force. Sasuke's eyes became fearful the instant he felt a thick wave of mouse intent emanate from the hot-headed woman. He slowly backed away from the angry Tsunade. Now, she shouted. Gasping, Sasuke turned tail and ran out of the office, nearly plowing right through Shizune, who was just shy inches away from the door. Shocked by Sasuke's sudden exit, Shizune peered into Tsunade's office in concern. Tsunade-sama, she called out. No response. At her own risk, the brunette Kunoiki entered, only to find an empty room and an open window. Suddenly growing worried for some reason, Shizune hastily exited. Konoha rooftops. Sweet grandma in a speedwagon going 90. I'm so glad the hot springs are still intact, an overly excited Jiraiya said to himself as he spied upon the gorgeous young girls lounge around the streamy hot waters via his so-called research A scope. Lying on his stomach far from the hot springs, the old L took in every fabulous detail, drooling and cackling as usual. He. Maybe if I'm patient, I'll be lucky enough to catch some storytelling action. As mentioned long before, nothing really distracts Jiraiya from his research, unless it was something of dire importance, in which case, another person accompanied him in his pee-pee research, sitting up straight. Guess it's a good thing I suckered him into signing some release forms, just in case, huh? A shaky old voice rung out from Jiraiya's left. Guess who? GG. I still can't believe you can show your face around here after what happened. Surely you're not here reminisce about the good old days, Jiraiya said as he spied. So ya knew the whole time, eh? Well, I appreciate ya not tellin' Suheim, bout any o' this. Last thing I need is an Amazon with an etude after my tea, GG responded. That only makes me more curious as to why you'd show up now, of all times. You know that Tsunade's taking Sarutobi-sensei's place as leader of this village. One would assume that you actually wanted to be found. Gitly as charged. Better if she finds me than I find her, that would turn out bad. Jiraiya ceased his peeping and stared up. Then why are you really here, GG? He questioned sternly. The gold-clad old-timer continued to peep, but held the conversation strongly. Stop playin' stupid, Jiraiya, it's gettin' as old as I am. You know as well as I do that K&, him was way too easy, GG said. And you say I'm playing stupid. If you knew about this, then why haven't already confronted Tsunade about it, Jiraiya argued. 'Cause GG know how women operate, holding grudges is what they do best. Now you weigh out the pros and cons of me just walking up to a hot-headed chick, who's had 14 years to accelerate all o' that hostility, and tell me that it's a good idea. If it means the safety of this and every other village, I'd say cons be damned. Son, what I'm doing is for the safety of this and every other vi. Jiraiya, GG frantically shouted as he pointed his twiddling finger toward the direction of the hot springs. What? The white-haired L responded as he hastily resumed his peeping. What? I don't see anything. GG, a little to the left. Oh, whoa, baby, is she doing what I think she's doing? Unless getting rough with another chick in a kinky way no longer applies to the smut category, then I say she is. Both gleeful LS happily enjoyed the show, laughing and cheering fro more, all while blissfully unaware of the lurking shadow from behind them. Woohoo! Punish her, Jiraiya cheered on. Whistles, she is tearing her up, GG concurred. Hey, look at that. She trying to act like she don't like it. Good. Makes it all the hotter. The shadow lurking from behind, DRD over them without their realizing. GG better get his camera, the aged perv said before averting his attention from the action and fumbled in his pockets. Gasp, oh my god. Hurry, Man, I think one of the 5 that are watching is about to join, the not so old but equally Ed Jiraiya warned. What? God damn it, where the hell's that camera? As Gigi continued to search for his camera, he failed to notice his fellow L being kicked off of the building. By this time he had found what he was looking for. Got it. What the old man said as he finally noticed Jiraiya's absence. Looking forward, he noticed a little speck in the air from a distance. He peered through his telescope to find that it was none other than Toad Sage himself, flipping and spinning through the air. Gigi lowered his spying tool, revealing a nervous face. Gulp. So, hey, ya found me Suheim. Wah, what a surprise. Hey, he chuckled nervously as he braced for the impending punishment. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.